कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लेबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, teenage brothers drown in Lautoka. Soldier to be disciplined for quarantine breach. And SUVA rate arrears improve.
From the studios of FBC SUVA, Jackie Smith.
The search continues tonight for two brothers who are believed to have drowned at an inlet in Riketi near Saweni, Lautoka today. The teenagers from a prominent school were playing with friends when tragedy struck. Details with Filipe.
It was a picnic that ended tragically. One of the youth telling FBC News that things happened in the blink of an eye.
It was around 11:45, like when they started to drown the big brother. He went for the ball but couldn't catch the ball, and the second brother tried to save him but he couldn't. And I tried to save the small brother, but my hand slipped. So the both of them went inside the water.
Police are still here at the scene, combing the area, hoping to find the bodies of the 17-year-old and 18-year-olds. Another eyewitness who lives in the area says she saw them going towards the spot in the morning. Bimalawati says it was not until later, when they heard the sirens, that she realized that something had happened.
It's not a good place. People who knows that place, people don't go. The ones who don't know, like far away people, they come from far away, they just go. They want to enjoy, they don't know. That place is very risky.
It is believed the 18-year-old victim was trying to retrieve a ball from the sea, and when he struggled to surface, his brother rushed to save him. However, they both drowned in the process. Filipe Naikaso, FBC News.
Some staff from the Ministry of Housing have been found to be tampering with socio-economic surveys within informal settlements. The survey is usually conducted after the Housing Ministry acquires a development lease, and staff are sent to gather information before houses are numbered or given lots. TAILEVU reports.
Some Housing Ministry staff have falsified information in surveys to get their own piece of land, which then they sell for profit.
So if there are, say, 90 people living in the informal settlement, they'll come up with information that there are 100 people living. 10 extra they will add. And these 10 extra lots, they sell to people. So there are individuals who after these lots, they know the development lease has been acquired, which means that you won't be paying any lease money. And it's better for them to now get the land as well. So this is how the scam was involved with our Ministry of Housing staff.
Minister Pramila Kumar says they're now reviewing the policy on lot allotment in informal settlements.
So the whole policy is under review at the moment. And we will be conducting public consultation on this new policy. We want to get people's view on this policy before the policy is adopted and implemented.
Permanent Secretary for Housing SANJEEVA PERERA says they're closely monitoring public assistance, particularly the First Home Buyers Program.
We are also just doing just for as an additional verification. At the moment, we are now doing another verification for all the applications from 2015.
Two staff from the Ministry of Housing are being investigated for their involvement in the recent land sale scams. The Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption is now investigating the matter. TAILEVU, FBC News.
Military Commander Rear Admiral VILIAME NAUPOTO has confirmed that a member of the Fiji military forces has been recently implicated in a quarantine breach. NAUPOTO says the soldier, in breach of strict COVID-19 protocols, was seen coming into contact with individuals who have been placed in quarantine in Nandi. He adds the soldier has been placed in quarantine as a precautionary measure and will be dealt with severely.
We are serious with what we do over there, and that's the last thing we would want to be doing is for those that come into quarantine or for those looking after quarantine to be breaking, those protocols. Otherwise, the whole that whole program of quarantining is just null and void when someone breaks it.
With frequent massive sales becoming a norm, consumers are being told not to assume that all purchases will give them benefits. Consumer Council of Fiji Chief Executive Seema Shandel says people have often been manipulated by dubious merchants or traders using incorrect advertising. Pranita Prakash has the details.
Fijians should avoid getting snared by what the consumer watchdog calls sneaky advertisements, especially during this difficult time.
Many times we have received complaints that when customers they go into these stores, they've come to know that advertisement was wrong and the prices were very different. Their advertised prices were quite low and the prices in store were quite high.
Economist Dr. Rohit Kishore says businesses are trying to use any means possible to get people into their stores, spending on so-called special and massive discounts.
See, a lot of businesses are at the brink of going to being closed, so they don't want that. And as a shopkeeper, as a businessman, you don't want to be a lonely businessman. You want human traffic. How do you create human traffic? When people are depressed, you want to create that buying spree. And how do you do that? By giving this sort of bargain discount and all this sort of thing. So that's what mostly they're trying to do right now.
During such sales, consumers end up committing themselves without realizing the financial implications in the long run. Traders have also been told to uphold the law and not to exploit consumers. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The Suva City Council has noted a reduction in rate arrears as a result of their aggressive debt collection. SEC Special Administrator Ezekiel Tikunduandua says individuals and businesses have been forthcoming with their payments. Tandulala has more.
The SEC is working closely with businesses and individuals who are facing difficulties in making payment to clear their arrears.
However, with the COVID-19, we anticipate there will be some challenges, especially business that may be closing down, business that are not making enough money, individuals, residents that may be unemployed or out of work at the moment.
Tikondondua says ratepayer profiling has enabled them to slowly reduce their arrears. With rate collection being a recurring issue, Minister for Local Government Pramila Kumar says they will implement new strategies to address this issue.
So my next big chunk of work I see as a way forward will be on rate collections, and there will be some amendments to the law so that we can make the ratepayers more responsible in terms of paying the rates in a timely manner.
The Ministry of Local Government is encouraging businesses and individuals facing problems with their payment to visit their municipal office and make necessary arrangements. Tandulala, FBC News.
Up ahead, police recover items lost in online scam. And Fiji Navy now has its own brass band.
मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Police have recovered a number of checks and items as part of their investigation on online scams. Chief of Operations ACP Abdul Khan confirms a number of companies were defrauded and a large number of recoveries have been made. In a recent scam, a group of men posing as businessmen and traders issued dishonoured checks for the supply of goods.
Quick actions by the police together with companies coming up and quickly identifying that was checks that was given to them, that was fake checks and all those things, and police has managed to apprehend offenders, and also they have recovered a lot of properties as well.
The Suva High Court has ordered a second psychiatric evaluation for murder-accused Fabiano Ndakai. Ndakai is alleged to have used an axe to kill a security officer in Navoa while he was sleeping in February last year. Apanisa Wangarandovu reports.
The defense lawyer will file a voir dire challenging the alleged confession and voluntary submission by the accused in his caution interview. Ndakai's lawyer requested another psychiatric evaluation report to ascertain his mental state at the time he had given the interview to police. The judge has also ordered that the report be put together by the same two doctors who had recently assessed the mental state of the accused when he was receiving treatment at the St. Giles Hospital earlier this year. The High Court also states the report should help in proceeding and determine whether Ndakai knew what he was doing at the time of the incident. Ndakai's lawyer will then most likely consider using the defense of insanity depending on the findings of the psychiatric evaluation. State prosecutors had earlier contested the first report, saying that Ndakai is fit to take a plea and can participate in court proceedings. They have now agreed to proceed with a voir dire. The case will be called for mention on the 20th of November this year. Apiniso Ndobo, FBC News.
The Republic of Fiji Military Forces now has 2 brass bands with the commissioning of the Fiji Navy Band today. Commander of the RFMF Rear Admiral VILIAME NAUPOTO says their band is the busiest unit in the armed forces, as they have engagements all year round, and hence the idea to form the naval band. Rear Admiral NAUPOTO says as a Navy officer, the commissioning today was a special moment for him, as the idea has come to fruition towards the end of his tenure. NAUPOTO, who also served as the Minister for Youth and Sports for some time, shared how he was introduced to the young people who now proudly wear the uniform of the newly commissioned band.
And I would sit in with them and listen to the instructors. And some of the instructors would teach them in Fijian and English. At the end of the day, I would look down at their books and they're all writing music. But they were so determined to continue for them to then pass and then to be selected to come in and to be part of this history.
The United States has commended the Fijian government's efforts in the fight against COVID-19. While celebrating USA's 244th independence anniversary, Joseph Seller said teamwork was exemplified by the government in ensuring that COVID-19 is contained and that Fiji is safe. Sanyani Mboila has more.
Fiji's unrelenting fight against COVID-19 received special mention as the U.S. Embassy in Fiji marked 244 years of independence for the United States with the theme Stars and Stripes Forever.
And I'm confident that we will overcome whatever challenges might arise in the future. Appreciate all the leadership, certainly by Prime Minister and his team, Dr. Laikanabete, Dr. Alicia, during this time of the pandemic. Leadership has been very strong and transparent.
Fiji's Chief of Protocol, Chiko Rasongosongo, says Fiji stands to support America in the fight against COVID-19.
On behalf of the Fijian government and its people, I extend our heartfelt sympathies and condolences for those who have succumbed to the COVID-19 scourge. Excellency, Fiji stands with the United States of America as we work to winning the battle against this pandemic.
The celebrations was attended by the Prime Minister, members of the diplomatic corps, senior government officials and multilateral stakeholders. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
10th October 1970 brings back special memories, and for 70-year-old Kelsey Genevieve, that's when Fiji became her home. 2 months after Fiji gained independence, Genevieve moved to Fiji at the age of 20 to marry and settle in Suva. Pranita Prakash has her story.
While sharing fond memories of when Fiji gained independence, 70-year-old Kelsey Genevieve says she was able to quickly adjust to her new home.
The culture shock was there, but in terms of availability of things, because New Zealand hadn't yet gone into the big malls, shopping malls, we were still little strip shops, the little shops around the corner, almost like Flagstaff or Railway, so there was still that. So when I came here, that wasn't a shock.
She may have missed the big day itself. Going through these pictures remind her of the mood of Fijians and the positive atmosphere 50 years ago.
Yeah, just the photos that my husband took back then, and of course seeing Prince Charles, and yeah. So it wasn't even televised in New Zealand, so we didn't get anything. I only knew of it through my husband and because I was coming here to live.
Genevieve says a lot has changed in the last 50 years.
It's been great for Fiji. I think it was probably time, and I think Fiji's come a long way. We've had a few hiccups on the way, but I certainly think Fiji's come a long way and has shown great strength to the other Pacific islands, where I guess we considered a leader to the other Pacific islands.
She adds that before, people used to have more time for each other and life was simpler. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
And Whitney joins us now with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up in business tonight, first ever commercial shrimp farm for Lambasa. And in growing Fiji, Japan helps build new classrooms. Stay with us.
Pula natang ko aprosa ng karse, ko erkraki. Do TAILEVU na parang na Radio Fiji 1, nandong ibit.
Radio Fiji 1, nandong ibit.
Korovatu in Lambasa has been identified as an area suitable for aquaculture. Fisheries Minister Samir Korelavusau says farmers in the area have lost their land because of sea flooding. Korelavusau adds seawater inundation has made it difficult to plant rice or sugarcane. Kritika Kumar reports.
The minister has highlighted the Korovatu area will be best suited for shrimp farming, the first commercial aquaculture farm in Vanuatu.
Shrimp production would be quite suited to here, as there is availability of brackish water where shrimp basically live and will be able to prosper if we put shrimp farms along this area.
Farmers are now diversifying into aquaculture because sugarcane and rice farming is not giving the same opportunities or income as in the past. Korelavusau adds aquaculture will also allow them to access the export market.
So for Korovatu it will be basically shrimp. We hopefully that they will be able to join us to commercially farm shrimp and get a better return other than the rice and cane that they used to produce before.
78-year-old Prabhu Dayal has welcomed the initiative, saying it will employ more Fijians.
So many poor people, they have no job. If the government making fish and prawns here making big pound, there's so many poor people, they got the job.
There is already interest from Southeast Asia, China and neighboring countries which are large-scale shrimp farmers but believe the Fijian product is of much higher quality. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
We now join Rocco from HFC Bank with the latest from the money market.
The safe haven yen rose to a 7-week high against the dollar amidst a batch of generally weak U.S. data and reservations about the U.S. economic outlook for the pace of recovery. U.S. economic data added to the gloom in the risk sentiment. U.S. jobless claims remain elevated at 860,000, while both housing stats and the Philadelphia Fed Business Index fell. Meanwhile, the pound fell sharply after the Bank of England said it had briefed monetary policy makers on how a negative interest rate could be brought in. As expected, Bank of England kept its interest rate at 0.10%. Elsewhere, the Canadian dollar edged higher against its U.S. counterpart on Thursday as oil prices climbed. Canada's retail sales report for July is due later tonight, which would show evidence of loonish economic activities. Moving closer to home, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand's interest rate is scheduled to be released mid-next week. The RBNZ interest rate has been fixed at 0.25% since March 2020. That's all for now from HFC Bank, Vinaka.
Looking at today's local exchange rates as set early this morning, it was a mixed day on the money markets. The Fiji dollar declined against the Kiwi dollar, the euro as well as the yen, but rose versus the US dollar, the Aussie, the PNG Kina and the Chinese yuan. Looking at the commodities, oil prices rose further, ending up just over $40 a barrel. Gold ended higher as well, $1,951 per ounce, and silver rose closed at $27.10 an ounce. The Education Ministry is in talks with the Japanese government to help in the tropical cyclone rehabilitation program for schools. This was confirmed by the Education Minister Rosie Akbar while commissioning the 3 new classrooms in Naivizula District School in TAILEVU. Akbar commended the Japanese government for already helping rebuild the 3 classrooms.
We're also looking at the partnership and generosities of the Japanese government to assist us in the TC Herald rehab as well. We are talking, and hopefully we are also able to get assistance to rebuild our schools.
And that's it from Business Tonight. We now join Talay with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Whitney. Good evening in sports tonight. TAILEVU records first home game win and courts IDC pools drawn. This and more coming up.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
TAILEVU has managed to win their first home game of the season. They defeated LAUTOKA 31-12 in the Skipper Cup clash at Ratutakbo Park in Nosori today. TAILEVU head coach Samisoni Mbaike Tonga says they rectified their mistakes against Namosi last week and the players executed all that was expected of them.
We really worked out on a mistake and I told the boys that we have to prepare ourselves for the challenge next week. Double header against Nandronga. In order to go to Nandronga, to beat Nandronga, we need first to beat LAUTOKA. And I thank the boys for hard work and I also thank the Almighty Lord for giving us the strength and the power to accomplish the mission today.
Ramsamy Suva will be looking to counter every possible tactic the Blue Gas Yasawa side will throw at them in tomorrow's Skipper Cup clash at Churchill Park in LAUTOKA. Having escaped with a 10-3 win against Yasawa in round 2, the capital city side knows the Marlins will be fielding a strong backline. Carleni Tavi has more.
Suva have done their homework and will not be taking Yasawa lightly.
Yasawa has been very flamboyant in the backs. I think they're very fast-spirited players, and I think we have the weapons to actually counter that. And we're looking forward to our backline, especially the first, the second, and center.
Taniela Songoniwasalo will make his debut for Suva tomorrow, relishing the chance to play alongside players he has idolized.
I look up to senior players like Kenele Malele, Achone Manu, and Leone Nawai.
The Ratukandavu Level School 2019 Dean's winning captain says he is ready to give it his all if he gets called from the bench.
I'm giving all my best during training and I'm thanking God for giving me this opportunity to play for the Super Rugby team this year.
Yasawa hosts Suva at Churchill Park in LAUTOKA tomorrow at 3 p.m. Carleni Tavi, FBC Sports.
It will be the battle of the southern teams in Group 2 of the Courts Inter-District Championship with giant killers Nesinu, Suva, LAUTOKA and Rewa pooled together. Defending champion Lambasa will have a hard time defending its title after being drawn with rivals Mba, Nandi and Navua.
Following today's pool draw, the Fiji Football Association anticipates tough competition right from day one.
You've seen the draws, exciting, evenly matched pools in the Super Premier. Pool B, of course, exciting prospect.
One team expected to cause upsets in the IDC is Nesinu, following the impressive performance in the Punja's Battle of the Giants.
We have all played just recently. LAUTOKA, it was a draw game in BPL. Rewa, we slightly lost one goal, and then Suva, which we met in BOG and we won 3-1. So coming back to IDC, it's going to be a different ball game.
With all southern teams drawn in Pool A, Chan says competition will be a level higher compared to the BOG.
And IDC, everyone knows it's going to be a marvelous and going to be a fast-paced game for Visinu. Fans can expect whatever was done in BOG, it will be another level at IDC.
The Courts Inter-District Championship will be held from the 6th to the 11th of next month at the ANZ Stadium in Suva.
The Southern Division defied all odds to win the Kontiki Finance IDC title after beating Western Division 2 1-0 in the final at Nasova Ground in Suva today. Suva football team captain Filipe BARAVILALA scored the lone goal of the match in the first half. Player of the tournament BARAVILALA says it was team effort that helped secure them the win. BARAVILALA has now set his focus to the Sukuna Bowl.
Pool games, semi-final, we went to extra time and the final against. But all in all, I would like to take my hats off to the boys for being there. It was a teamwork, and the Sukuna Bowl, we are looking forward for it, as I'm also in the squad, and we would like to retain the title this year.
Nandi soccer coach Kamal Swami has rated Nasinu highly ahead of their clash this Sunday at the NZ Stadium in Suva. With Nasinu second last on the VPL standings, the Jet Setters believe Nasinu will want to ensure they don't get relegated. Details with Filipe Naikaso.
The Jet Setters will be aiming to turn things around after losing 2-1 against Rewa last week, but they know it will be an uphill battle.
And I know Nasinu plays very well, and they played very well in BOG, and plus some of the league games they were very good. They play good football, and with the guidance of Tangi Bonilangi, I think they are one of the best teams, and they will try and prove themselves because they want to get points so that they can get away from promotion and relegation.
Coach Swami says he's happy with the players' performance, especially the youths who have stepped up in the last few matches.
Where we didn't have our best goalkeeper, but we gave a youth goalkeeper a chance, and I think we played very well, and all the officials, executives and the players were happy about it.
18-year-old goalkeeper Tivita Ravia, who also made his debut for Nadi last week, says he has a lot to learn.
I think I'll improve on my performance from last week. I think I did some of the mistakes, and yeah, I think I'll improve on my performance later on.
Nadi will play Nasinu at 1 p.m. this Sunday at the ANZ Stadium. Filipe Naikaso, FBC Sports.
Former Fiji middleweight boxer Sebastian the Sniper Singh is free to fight again. The Boxing Commission of Fiji has lifted Singh's suspension. Singh was suspended by BCF in January and stripped off his middleweight title following complaints from officials, promoters and fans.
Being suspended for almost a year has taught the sniper some valuable lessons, and he has even found something bigger than boxing.
You know, in this band and everything I've been through, I have found something really great. That's the power of God. To be honest, while I was out here, while I was champion, while I was up there, the pride got to me.
Singh says he has let down a lot of people, including his fans, but now he is ready to reclaim his title and his status in Fiji boxing.
My fans, from the Boxing Commission, from everybody that I have let down, yet for even my opponents.
The 26-year-old has issued an open challenge to boxers in Fiji.
Like we've made this statement today, it's not a small statement because there's a lot of good fighters in this country, without a doubt. And we've issued a challenge in 3 different weight divisions, and we are not even at that weight.
Team Sniper believes their star will return to the ring in December.
There's 2 fights left for this year. I think during December. So one is already he's not there. His name is not in the list. So the second one, we believe he'll be in there.
Singh says he is back as a better fighter and hopes to reclaim his title. Aquila Vama, FBC Sports.
The Bulldogs produced one of the upsets of the season to climb off the bottom of the ladder with a 26-16 win over the Rabbitohs in the NRL clash last night. In play of the day, we move to the 2020 US Open. Golfer Patrick Reed nailed a clean one-hopper at 5 under par after cutting an opening 65. That's it from sports tonight. Coming up in new media, flying car tested in Turkey. Details coming up.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
And Angie joins us now with the latest in weather.
Good evening and welcome to the weather world. There was major improvements in the air today. The winds were moderate and there wasn't a show of showers. Good weather brings positive vibes, especially when it's the weekend. Now in the west, the weather remained unchanged, sunshine rolling in this part of the country. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, it clocked in some nice digits, 33 degrees and cool. And up north, mostly dry for this side of the island. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Now turning to the tides, low tide at 1:22 a.m. with high tide at 7:32 a.m. Sunrise will be at 5:58. For tomorrow, rainfall chances continue to go down. The nice winds will bring in greater spells. There you go. Looks like our Saturday is sorted. Tomorrow's temps, Nandi will have dual digits at 29 degrees. Nice day to be out there. And looking further on to Sunday, rain chances again about to go to zero. Hope I made your weekend mood already. Well, that's that. Wishing you a wonderful weekend. It's back to Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji Pulse, we ask, can Nandronga reclaim the Fairbrother Sullivan Trophy from Namosi tomorrow?
I think Namosi will retain the Fairbrother Sullivan Trophy.
It'll be a 50-50 game.
Nandronga has a very strong side and they are a much experienced team and they have a lot of sprinters in the squad. I know Nandronga will win again this year.
I think that Nandronga will able to win back the trophy tomorrow because of the experienced player on the side.
Adrenaline junkies go to great lengths for the thrill, but few would deliberately put their lives at risk. One skydiver did just that, burning his parachute mid-jump. Recapping the main stories for tonight, teenage brothers drown in Lautoka. Soldier to be disciplined for quarantine breach and Suva rate arrears improve. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, do we need to have lifeguards at all picnic spots and beaches? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, final one for the week, sent in by Semin Galotaki, shows the sun setting over Lomawai village in Nandronga. And you can send us newsworthy pictures to email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj via Facebook page FBC News and our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, from the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Modamanda.
Baik tu Delhi mereka tahu, रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.